Hello and welcome to today's video, guys. In this video, we'll be practicing a memory quiz of the most important ITTOs from the topic Communications Management of PMBOK Edition 6. This video is a continuation of the ITTOs flashcard playlist where I have already covered ITTOs from integration, scope, cost, schedule, quality and resource management for you. So if you have not watched those videos yet, make sure you go ahead and check out those videos as well. So let's start with how to memorize the most important ITTOs from the topic Communications Management of your PMP exam. ITTOs form a very important part of your PMP exam, guys, and you can expect a lot of situational questions linked to ITTOs in your PMP exam. Now, if you want to practice questions like these, make sure you check out my 200 question mock simulator exam on Udemy, which is specifically focused on situational questions like the PMP exam. The link I'll be providing in the description box of this video. So now let's jump right onto the quiz on Communications Management ITTOs for your PMP exam. So the rules of the quiz, guys. We will focus on ITTOs on communications management in this video. Questions, as usual, will come as flashcards. This time the number of questions will be 8 and you need to redo the quiz again and again till you start scoring 8 out of 8. You will have about 15 seconds to think of an answer, and after that the slide will flip and you will see the answer at the back of the slide. Okay. And there is an important tip on communication hierarchy in the end of this quiz. So make sure you watch this video till the end because this concept is a very important concept in the field of communications management. And this quiz will tell you, as usual, how well you are prepared with a score analysis in the end. Okay. This time as well, I have an audio version for you so that you can also listen to the quiz whenever you are driving or working out in the gym. So let's move on to question number 1 from the topic of ITTOs of communications management. Question number 1. What are the two key inputs from project management plan in the process plan communications management, which provides the basis of establishing effective communication channels? Answer: resource management plan and stakeholder engagement plan. These are the two plans from project management plan that gets integrated into communications management to establish effective communication channels. See the slide for more details. Question number 2. What is the tool and technique in the process plan communications management which shows the complexity of communication in a cross-cultural scenario, thereby helping to eliminate noise in communication? Answer: communications model for cross-cultural communication. This communication model incorporates the idea that the message itself and how it is transmitted are influenced by the sender's current emotional state, knowledge background, personality, culture, and biases. Check page 373 of PMBOK Edition 6 for more details. ITTO question number 3. What is the output of the process plan communications management that describes how project communications will be planned, structured, implemented, and monitored for effectiveness? Answer: communications management plan. That's a very obvious one, guys. Yeah. Okay, now let's move on to question number 4. What is the tool and technique of the process manage communications that ensure that stakeholders can easily retrieve the information they need in a timely way?
Answer: Project Management Information Systems. Project management information systems can ensure that stakeholders can easily retrieve the information they need in a timely way. Project information is managed and distributed using a variety of tools such as electronic project management tools, electronic communication management tools, and social media management.
If you are liking this video guys, make sure you subscribe to my channel and press that bell notification. That way you will remain informed of whenever I upload a new video on this channel. And now let's move on to the next question.
Question number 5. What is the output of the process manage communications that establishes performance reports, deliverable status, schedule progress, and other information required by stakeholders? Answer: Project communications. Project communications artifacts may include but are not limited to performance reports, deliverable status, schedule progress, cost incurred, presentations, and other information required by stakeholders. Question number 6. What is the input of the process monitor communications that considers organizational culture, political climate, and governance framework to influence the communication management process? Answer: Enterprise environmental factors. The enterprise environmental factors that can influence the monitor communication process include a lot of items such as organizational culture, communication channels, global or regional trends, or geographic distributions. Check the slide for more details. ITTO question number 7. What is the input of the process monitor communications that considers corporate policies and procedures for social media, ethics, and security to influence the communication management process? Answer: Organizational Process Assets or OPAs. The OPAs that may influence the monitor communications process include but are not limited to corporate policies, organized communication requirements, historical information and lessons learned, and stakeholder and communications data. Check the slide for more details. ITTO question number 8. What is the output of the process monitor communications that includes information on how project communications are being performed versus the baseline plan? Answer: Work performance information. Work performance information includes information on how project communication is performing by comparing the communications that were implemented compared to those that were planned. It also considers feedback on communications, such as survey results on communication effectiveness. Now we'll discuss an important concept, guys, which is called the communication hierarchy in the field of communications management. Now, when you try to understand that what are the two basic types of communications, you can say that the communications can be informal or formal. And when you talk of informal communications, it can be verbal or written, and same as formal, it can be verbal or written. Now, in terms of hierarchy, it goes from left to right. That first is the informal verbal, next is informal written, next one is formal verbal, and the last one is formal written. Now you need to understand that on what context you need to use each of those communication hierarchies. Okay. Now let's say informal verbal. You use mainly this during daily discussions within the core project team. Okay. So for example, when you are discussing the day-to-day activities of a project within your project team, you use this informal verbal communication. You use informal written communication while doing daily discussions outside your core project team. For example, every project has a core team and an extended team, right? So your project cost analyst is a part of your core team, but maybe the regional cost analyst is an example of a member of the extended team. So if you want to share some updates with the extended team, or if you need any information from that team, you generally use informal written communication. Formal verbal communication. So you use formal verbal communications when you do daily discussions within the project stakeholders. So whenever you send out project status reports, or whenever you talk with your stakeholders in terms of getting some inputs or feedback from them, you use formal verbal communications. When you use a decent email, or when you use a decent one pager to send it to them and get it done. And the final one is formal written communications, which is the daily communications with your sponsor and stakeholders, where actually you send out project status reports, cost reports, maybe schedule reports, etc. So this has to be the formal written communications. Okay. There is another example of how the communication channel moves from an informal to a formal way. So let's say, for example, the first level of feedback or warning to team members for minor issues or violations. For example, so let's say there is a first instance of unplanned absenteeism with one of your team members. So generally at that point of time, you will convey him informally that this is not okay, right? It moves on to the informal written communication, where actually you document this issue when there is a repeat of that miss, right? So it's like if that person commits a repeat unplanned absenteeism, then you do a documentation, but it's a bit of an informal one. So you may send out a 1 or 2 line email directly to him, letting him know that yes, this is documented now and he should not commit this kind of mistakes in future. It moves on to a formal verbal communication when there is a first time feedback or warning for critical issues or violations. For example, if there is a first instant where you see that there is a misreporting of the cost metrics. So if your cost engineer reports the NPV of the project, or maybe the CPI or SPI of the project erroneously, so that's a formal verbal communication you do with your cost engineer and try to understand why did that data point got wrongly reported. Is it like a calculation mistake, or is it like a deliberate thing, right? And the final one is a formal written communication also when there is a serious repeat violations of the same mistake, like when you get to know that yes, this is a deliberate mistake and it's being committed again and again, then you do a formal and written communication and document everything over emails and papers if necessary. Okay. And also remember guys, whenever there is a changes in contract and whenever you have communications with deals with integrated change control processes, you always do a formal written communication. So what you need to remember is this part, where actually it is very important to understand that where formal communication is a must and it is necessary. You can expect some questions in PMP giving you a scenario and asking that, okay, whether you need to do a formal or an informal communication here, or a written or a verbal communication here. So if you remember this chart, you will have no problem in answering those kind of questions. Okay, so take a screenshot of this chart, keep it in your error logs or in your documents and revise it before your PMP exam. So that's the end of the quiz guys. You can see your performance based on the scorecard as provided here. And as I mentioned earlier, you need to keep on redoing the quiz again and again till you start scoring 8 out of 8. And that holds true for all of my ITTO videos that I have published till now on my channel. So thank you for watching today's video. I hope this video was helpful for you. And I will see you again very soon with another awesome video like this. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.